So continuing the series of fining explanations, we're going to look today at eggs, also known in winemaking circles as cackleberries and also bum nuts, depending which winemaker you work with. We use eggs, we use the whites in the winemaking to selectively remove characters from red and white wines, but mainly reds, which we think are a bit too rough and ready. So simply by separating out the white from the yolk, getting rid of the yolk, which makes a beautiful dessert. You can cook it with sugar, makes a baglioni, mix in some cream and a bit of espresso coffee, beautiful. But anyhow, that's another story. And then we just have the white. Now the egg whites themselves are again proteins which have a shape and a charge, and we need to dissolve them into the wine in order to get them into a form that can actually react with the compounds we want to remove. So what we'll do with an egg white like this, which has a volume of about 30 mils, we'll dissolve it in say 1 litre of salt water, so something similar in terms of salt content to like ocean water. There's an interesting little bit of skullduggery there that it's illegal in Australia to add sodium chloride to the wine, which is table salt. So in order to dissolve this egg white, we have to use something like potassium chloride, which is like a brother to table salt, but it's not sodium, it's potassium, and that's illegal. It makes everyone happy in the government, so we do it. So we dissolve the egg white in the salty water, and then we mix it into the wine as the wine is circulated. And by getting an even homogeneous mixture, that will allow the egg white to evenly react with the wine. So again, it's another fining agent which people found in the pantry of a farmhouse. This is a lot of the things that we do in winemaking. Interestingly, in 2012, for those of you who have been customers for a long time, I actually tried something different. I actually bought these egg whites in a powdered form, like when you buy something like Pavlova Magic, as opposed to cracking the eggs and separating the whites. And that year, I put them into the wines, and that was the only year I've ever really got complaints from my customers saying that the wines had a reaction with them. So after that year, I've gone back to simply getting the eggs and separating the whites and mixing them in the way I used to. I've never had another complaint. So it's a curious thing that you think sometimes you know what's in a fining agent, but maybe there's different ways you can prepare it, and maybe that will have a different impact on people. It's a curious thing, allergies and sensitivities. Another thing I see sometimes is winemakers get these egg whites and they whip them up like a meringue. They add them to the wine and they don't dissolve in, they just bob around on top. And in that format, they won't do anything whatsoever to the wine because they're not dissolved in it. But strangely, I see this done quite often. But the correct way to do it is to salt the protein into a solution and then mix it into the wine with good stirring. We then leave it for about 4 or 5 days, and the egg whites will sink to the bottom of the tank, and we take the clean wine off the top and hose the egg whites away. And that completes the fining process, and the wine is now being treated. So if it's done well, we can take a red wine which is a bit gripping and grabbing, smooth it out and make it softer and more appealing. Cheers.